Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I am going to do two or three questions from the Delta Math find domain and range using a graphing calculator. I'm going to use an online graphing calculator called Desmos, but the key idea is the same as when you were using TI Inspire. When you're trying to find the domain and range, the graph is going to go off the screen, and what you should do, or what you should visualize, is that when it goes off the screen, that means it would have arrows. And so you have to treat those arrows appropriately, right? So I'm going to do three examples and two or three examples, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So the very first thing you see here says we're finding the range of the function f of x equals the absolute value x minus 5. So I'm going to use a online graphing calculator. It's called Desmos. Let me click on it. Now, I'm just going to enter this. It's going to be f of x, x, and then it's equals, and then it's absolute value of x minus 5. Now, all right, so here's the graph. Let me close this. Now, the key idea is the graph is going off the screen. So when it goes off the screen, that means that you should be imagining that it's arrows and it's going forever. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture, and we're going to use two horizontal lines because that represents the range. So let me take a picture. All right, here's the picture. So now I'm going to use a ruler, and I'm going to draw two horizontal lines. So here's the bottom of the graph. And the bottom of the graph, I'm going to do, let's make this red. I'm going to draw a line here, and then I'm going to go to the top of the graph, and I'm going to draw another horizontal line. Boom. Now, I can get rid of the ruler. Now, here's the idea. Down here, the y value, the bottom of the graph starts at 0. All right. Now, I need to find out what's the top of the graph from the bottom to the top. So now, normally, if this was a closed circle, we would just go and read the x-axis or the y-axis, and that would be the top. But it's going off the screen, so we can actually take this and extend it. So what you should see is that, hey, this, even though it ends there on the calculator screen, it's actually going out forever. So you would put some arrows on it. So now, so that means it's going up in the y direction to a positive infinity. So that's what we're going to write here. That's going to be our answer, from 0 to a positive infinity, a bracket on the 0, a parentheses on the infinity sign. So let me delete this and let's enter that. All right, so I'm done with the graphing calculator for now. So let me just go. It's going to be a bracket at 0. And then it's going to go to infinity. Submit it, and it says that's a great job. So that's what you're doing. You treated the lines going off the screen like arrows. That's the key idea. Okay, let's do another one. All right, let's see if we can find one that's domain. I'll do this one. So this one is f of x equals, and let me get rid of all of this stuff from the last one, clear. All right, we got f of x equals x minus 3 squared. So this is going to be a quadratic function. So let's graph it. Let me grab the graphing calculator right here, Desmos. And I'm just going to type in the function. So it's just going to be f of x equals parentheses x minus 3, close the parentheses and square it. So now here is our graphing calculator. I'm adjusting the window. So now again, we're going to use horizontal lines to represent the bottom and the top of the graph. But so very first thing we're going to do is we are going to take a picture. All right, here's my picture. We're going to draw, we're going to use a ruler, and we're going to draw two horizontal lines. So I'm going to move the horizontal line down here. I'm going to use blue. So here is the bottom of the graph. And then I'm going to come up to the top of the graph, from the bottom to the top. And I'm going to draw a horizontal line there. Now I can get rid of the ruler. So this would be 0. So that's the bottom of the graph. And the top of the graph, again, it's going off of the calculator screen. You should know that it's going up forever. So even though it ends on the calculator screen, you have to understand that actually means that it's going up to infinity. So we would put an infinity here. So this would also be infinity. So we're going from 0 with a bracket to infinity with the parentheses. So it's basically very similar to the last one. So I can get rid of the graph and calculator now. And I need a bracket and parentheses. So this is going to be 0. And then it's going to be infinity. Submit it. All right, that's it. Now I need to see if I can find one that has a domain question. So let's see, that's a range. Okay, here's one. So this one is a domain. So we're doing the f of x equals the square root of x minus 1. We need domain. So domain is going to be a set of vertical lines on the very left of the graph and going to the very right of the graph. So now I'm going to use the graphing calculator. Desmos, let's go. I'm going to type in this function. So it's going to be f of x equals the square root of x minus 1, and we graph it. I'm going to move the graph over. Now the key is I'm going to draw 2 vertical lines. I need to know where the left is. So it says that the x value is 1, so that's going to be the left part of the graph. And then you can see the line goes off the screen. So you should say, oh, that's going to be a line that goes on forever, so I'm going to put an arrow there. Let me take a quick picture. All right, and then let me do some vertical lines. I need a ruler, get my ruler. All right, I'm going to make it vertical, 90 degrees here. And then I'm going to draw a vertical line. That's on the left of the graph. Now I'm going to go over to the very right of the graph from left to right. And I'm going to try to draw another vertical line over here. I can get rid of the rulers. So it's going to start at a +1. And now, even though it ends here, you should know on the calculator screen, even though it ends, it actually is going off the screen and it continues to go forever to the right. So that means this would be a positive infinity. That's what you write. And that's going to be our answer. It's going to start at 1 with a bracket. That's the left part of the graph. And we're going to go all the way to the right to infinity, to positive infinity. So I can delete this now. And then I can enter that. A positive, I don't need the graph anymore. Okay, so I need a bracket and a parentheses again. It starts at 1. So I put a 1 in there, and then it goes to infinity, going to the right forever. And then I just submit it, and it says, nice job. That's what you're doing. So guys, the key idea is when you use a graphing calculator, the graph is going to go off the screen. If it goes off the screen, that generally means it's going forever to infinity. Now you got to determine, is it going in the x direction or the y direction? That depends on whether we're looking for the domain or the range. Remember, domain is vertical lines on the leftmost part of the graph and vertical lines on the rightmost part of the graph. If it's going off the screen, you got to treat that like it's an arrow. If you're looking for range, you start at the bottom of the graph with a horizontal line, and you go to the top of the graph and you draw a horizontal line. If it's going off the screen, you got to account for that. So whenever it goes off the screen, you have to treat it like it's an arrow going to infinity, and you have to handle that appropriately. That's the key. If it goes off the screen, you have to treat it like it's going to infinity, and you have to handle it appropriately. All right, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to post it, and I hope that this helps. If it doesn't, you got to hit me up, and I'll try again. All right, let me stop and post.